Radical.
Where do I even begin? The Los Angeles Lakers are an absolute mess. They're a mess. Now, in the background here, you see the end of the game, where basically this young Oklahoma team, they threw the ball right to the Lakers. Now, Carmelo gets it, and he's got a wide open shot at the top of the three-point line. And he airballs that ball. Airballs it by about 2 feet. You'll see I got the arrows right there. Yeah, Carmelo had a pretty good game a couple days ago. He's not the biggest problem of the team. Malik Monk had a huge air ball towards the end of the game. In fact, the last 2-3 attempts from this team were air balls. So they lost to the Oklahoma Thunder. Many analysts are saying it's actually the worst loss in Lakers history. Tell you why. One, this Oklahoma Thunder team, until that moment, did not have a win this entire season. Most of the people on that Oklahoma team are around 20 years old. It's a very young team. I don't know the names of anyone on that team. So it's basically a bunch of nobodies. A bunch of basically kids just beat the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Lakers did not have LeBron James, but they did have Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. You should not lose to a team like this with Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. Now, here's why. I actually think this is the worst Lakers loss that I've ever seen. They were up by 26 points. 26 points at one point in the game. So you think, well, this is all done, right? No, the Oklahoma Thunder came back on them. They came back on them. I guess they just didn't respect the Oklahoma Thunder. And at the end of the game, there was a dunk by one of the players, and Russell Westbrook got his second technical. I guess he didn't like the display at the end of the game, right? And that's all the focus. After the game, he was talking about that dunk at the end of the game. In a transition after getting a steal at the end of the game. And it's not like that game was, they weren't up by 20 points. It was like relatively, the Lakers still couldn't have come back. But up until the very end of the game, it was competitive, right? I see no problem whatsoever with that dunk, that emphatic dunk at the end of the game, on the end of a transition. I have no problem with it. You know why? Because if you're the Oklahoma Thunder, the Lakers were not taking you seriously. The Lakers were disrespecting you. The Lakers weren't even attempting to play any defense whatsoever. I would be disrespected if I'm on that team, and the other team across from me is not even trying to guard me, not even trying to play any defense. I'd be like, okay, motherfucker, we're going to give it to you. We're going to give it to you. And they did. There's several other things I could probably bring up about this game. There is. And how pathetic the Los Angeles Lakers are looking for a presumptive championship contender this season. And again, LeBron didn't play. If LeBron played, I don't see any way that they wouldn't have won, because LeBron would have grabbed Russell Westbrook by his ear and been jaw-jacking him, like he was jacking those threes. They were begging Russell Westbrook to shoot threes. They were begging him. All it was missing was maybe like a little prayer before, please, Russell Westbrook, please shoot a three. I think they lost that game because at 40 seconds left in the game, Russell Westbrook, after a timeout, couple seconds after, they got over 20 seconds left in that shot clock, and Russell Westbrook launches up a freaking brick. Is that really the play that they called? Does he think he's going to surprise that team by launching up a three? He's like 10% from three or something like that. 10, 15%. He's terrible, right? Okay, here's a tip, Russell Westbrook. Chances are, if they're allowing you to do something, then you can't do it. You can't do it. But yeah, what are they going to do? Russell Westbrook only knows one speed. He only knows one way to play. He is a turnover machine. And the announcer even stated that at the end of the game, after 10 turnovers. Wow, he's a turnover machine. What good is Russell Westbrook if you're a championship contender? Oh, he'll get you some points. He'll definitely give you some effort. He'll get some rebounds. He will. But he'll also keep throwing that precious ball away. And these are not like, standard turnovers. These are the stupidest turnovers I've ever seen. He will go right at the basket. He will try to take on 4 people to get to that basket. He'll jump up, and he'll decide, wait a second, this is probably not the best decision. In midair, he will look around and try to find a player to pass it to. At one point, he was basically just passing it to the Oklahoma players, One thing you can say about Westbrook is he's a great guy. He remembers how much he loved his former team, the Thunder. That's why Russell Westbrook helped them to win this game. He helped his old team win the game.